Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Kenroy here. Now unfortunately guys, my microphone is broken, which basically means I'm not able to give as good as a recording quality when it comes to my voiceovers. Hopefully I'll be able to get a new one soon. Now if it's your first time actually stopping by, then we want to extend a warm welcome to you. Now if you remember from my previous video that we did, I spent some time showing you guys what I've been getting up to in regards to painting our living room and the kitchen. Now there was one section that was missing, and that was painting above the rails in the living room. And so in today's video, I'm just going to spend a little time showing you what I've been getting up to. Now if you're new to this channel guys, please do Sophia and I a huge favour, and if you're finding this content helpful, please don't forget to leave us a comment, as we always respond to all of our comments. Now thank you for all of you guys who have been supporting us since day one. Especially for those who have been commenting on some of our older videos. I'm so happy that they've been helpful to you. Now don't worry guys, this won't be a 16-minute video of me just painting the wall. I'll spend the first few minutes, as you can see here, showing you what I've been getting up to. But stick around to the end guys, as I'll be giving you a comprehensive breakdown of what I've been getting up to in terms of progress on this ground floor 1870s cottage. Hey wonderful people, Kenroy here again. So I was up late last night actually doing some painting, and I've just come down now to actually see what it looks like. For those of you who've painted late at night, perhaps when the lighting isn't that good, you know what it's like to wake up in the morning and realize that perhaps I didn't do such a good job as I thought. But I'm pleased to say that after staying up late last night to get a lot of the painting done above the dado rails, I don't know if you can see this behind me, we've gone for this sort of like a warm kind of magnolia color to complement the reddish tones that we've got in the one down below. And yeah, it looks really good. Sophia likes it, which is really nice. I've done one coat of it, still need to cut in around the top. Don't know if you can see up here just behind me, I need to cut around the ceiling. I thought I'd leave that for today because like I said, the lighting wasn't so great last night and I didn't fancy actually trying to get that done. Must say it's a glorious day. I mean, the sun is so bright outside. Looking really nice in here today. I'm really pleased with how it's looking so far. There are a few places that needs to be sanded down, you know, where I've removed screws and wall plugs, as you can imagine, but so far so good. Now the living room is still in such a mess, but you know, it's still work in progress. We got the fireplace to finish off. I need to get a hacksaw, cut through these wall corner beads because there was some water damage, it seemed, that was seeping up from below. So I need to remove that for the builder to replaster it before I can paint it. Then we're going to reattach the fireplace, and last but not least for the fireplace there'll be some tiles to make a little plinth in front of it, you know, so that when we are using the fire, if anything sort of falls out, any live embers or any sparks or anything, hopefully it will land on that little plinth. We actually got some tiles to match the blues and the greens within the fireplace, which we're really looking forward to seeing how that looks. Just trying something different really. Need to replace all these switches, which I removed from the wall. Yes, I did actually remove them from the wall so I can paint behind them, it's the proper way to do things. The radiator that I've painted, which is looking really nice at the moment, needs to be reattached. Yeah, so that's going to be done in this coming week. The builder's going to help me with that. I've done everything else. All he needs to do is to cut the copper pipes and to reattach it, or he might just show me how to do it. Well, we'll see how we get on. I also need to cut this side of the room as well because of the water damage with that plaster and the bead. I think what's been happening is when it rains really heavily outside in the passageway, as when it rained, like we're having some terrible storms recently, the water sort of backflows and come through this passageway, and I think it's pooling and settling right in that corner there, which is where the fireplace actually is. Hello Felix. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do something to create some ramps on both ends of the walkway to stop the water from running back up into the middle of the walkway, but that's for another day anyway. So I need to get the hacksaw out to cut that bit off and allow him to replaster it before I can finish painting it. But I'm very pleased with the walls, if I'm being completely honest, because I thought I was quite nervous, to be fair. Stripping back the walls from wallpaper right back to original plaster is always a big gamble, but I think it's actually come off a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I tried to sand it. It's not perfect, there's loads of little bumps and dips, but that's because of how it was skimmed. There's nothing to do with, you know, with me as such, and there's not much you can do about that unless you completely replaster it. There's bulges and so on, but I mean, at the end of the day, I suppose that sort of shows the character of the place and the age and everything else, so I'm not going to complain. It looks good. Now in the kitchen, I've started painting in here. I know it's probably hard to see on camera, but there's like a really subtle blue on these walls. This is where we had the security alarm system. Bye bye. I actually removed, and I've had to backfill this on layers upon layers because it was quite deep, the box in the hole, and I'm backfilling that, so it needs sanding and painting. Again, this wall was just lightly skimmed. You can see all the little dips and bumps in it, but again, I'm not bothered by that. Need to cut around the tops just like I did in the living room, or just like I need to do in the living room, and just finish painting it. This wall looks a lot better because it's a lot smoother than the other one. And yeah, need to dig out that box, put some new boxes in there, because unfortunately the socket box is quite shallow, so when I put this new plug on, I can't actually get it to close back on the wall, so I'm gonna have to dig that one out. I've got no idea why they use such shallow boxes in these, but you know, old houses and all that, so can't really complain. I've already attempted it with this one to some success. This just needs to be sanded around here and painted before attaching it, and then of course putting the faceplate on this light switch, and yeah, so far so good. So that's my first attempt and it's sort of come out alright. Now the kitchen tiles on the wall, they're all done. Looking really nice, if I do say so myself. I love the colour, honestly. When you're choosing tiles sometimes you don't realise what they're going to look like when they all come together, and seeing it now, I'm glad we went for this colour. You know, to contrast the dark blue of the cupboards, you know, with something that's much more lighter, more upbeat, and it looks really good. Put the light on, hopefully you can see a bit better. Now the place is still an absolute mess. This is from the carnage last night. The only thing that's left for the tiling is to get this little strip, move you out the way Mr. Ribena. The only thing left for the tiling is to get this little strip back on. Unfortunately, the builder had done a really nice intricate cut for this bit that goes above the switch, but while I was trying to fit these back in, unfortunately it snapped. I guess there wasn't enough holding it behind here, so there wasn't anything to support it, so it broke. But it was a nice clean break, so we're hoping that he'll be able to just sort of put it back together. I don't mind seeing the little crack there, I'm not too fussed, because the only other alternative would be to take this all off and try again, which, yeah, it's not worth it. So he's going to reattach this little piece at the top, and once that's in, these face plates can go in. Thankfully they were deep enough, and once they're in, then that's that. And the only thing left to do is to grout these tiles, which will be, I think he'll be starting tomorrow actually. So those are going to be grouted in the same grey colour as the floor. Couldn't be bothered to actually buy another colour grout just for the sake of it, because that stuff is not cheap, at nearly 20 quid a bag for the decent stuff. The cooker has been used thoroughly since putting it in, thank God. I need to come and clean this actually. I was making stir fry on there last night, trying to feed the family. Yeah, so I'll show you what the switches look like when they're actually on. So I don't know if you can see it clearly on here, but this is a switch for the extractor fan, and it's working. As you can see, everything's working nicely. I've reattached them, and this is those new switches that I showed you previously with the copper finish. Now these are just face plates that can actually, I don't want to pull it off and damage anything, but they can actually just pull off and clip on. You can get different colors. Now the company is called Trendy Switch, and I think they're really cool because, you know, you can really mix and match, get some different color schemes going, and yeah, they work really well, really clicky once they're on there, so it's really nice. Oh, just switched off the microwave there. But yeah, I really like them, and we've chosen sort of the copper theme to coincide and match sort of with the handles that we've got on the door. I mean, these cupboard doors are absolutely filthy, they need to be cleaned, but yeah, we wanted to have copper handles, and we thought it would be nice to, you know, add a bit more color with these copper plugs. So, you know, trying to do all that interior design stuff, which isn't my forte, but I think it looks really nice. You know, nothing to complain about there. Now I've noticed that a couple of these tiles didn't actually adhere to the wall properly, so the builder's gonna have to get back behind there and sort that out. So this one here, and also this one, which I think kind of tends to happen with these corner pieces where they're quite fiddly, trying to match it up with the splashback. But the good thing is that, you know, you should always go around and check to make sure that everything is stuck to the wall, and before the builders leave, it's always a good idea. So he knows about that and he'll rectify it. And yeah, just a couple more of the switches just under there, and yeah, the splashback, I mean, how amazing does that look? Honestly, worth every penny. I mean, it wasn't very cheap, neither was it super expensive, I guess, for what it is, but that's a huge piece of glass with a nice copper design coming through. And I just love these little accents of the, you know, rusted copper blue, which match really nicely with the tiles. I mean, couldn't have chosen better in my opinion. The extractor fan, after much work from me, is in. Need to paint, need to sand down behind on the wall there and paint it as well. Also above the cupboards, coming round above this cupboard and just finishing it off. But yeah, everything is almost there, nearly done, and I can't wait for it all to be finished. Some of this mess and rubbish to be cleared away, but we're close to the finish line, guys. I think one of the other things to do is to reattach these trims around the door. Now Sapphire and I are in two minds of whether or not we're going to keep the door on here or leave it open, because although it's not open plan, it is very nice and liberating to just walk through the doorway and not actually have a door to the right, which is something that we never thought we would have actually liked, but it's just really good, just walking through. And it just makes the place feel a bit bigger. I know it sounds weird because it's just the door, but not having doors there, it just makes it feel a lot bigger than it normally does, as having the door there kind of restricts your movement slightly, I guess. Not by much, but I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's nice without it, so we might actually keep that off. Lastly, and the next, well, I think the last biggest thing that needs to be done, we're getting rid of our stable door, which honestly, this door is shocking. If you look here, probably have shown you this in a previous video, there's so much draft coming through here. I can actually feel it. Don't know if you can hear it. Okay, you probably can't hear it, but trust me, take my word for it, it just lets in so much air. So we're just going for a bog standard sort of like back door, relatively inexpensive because we are officially broke and we can't afford anything more expensive. Plus the actual door frame isn't the largest, so it's very hard to find anything substantial to put in there because, you know, you'd have to get it custom made and it's so much more expensive. So we're just going to go with something standard. At the end of the day, we just need it to be able to come in and out and to stop this cold air coming in and our heat actually escaping. But rather than opening inwards, what we're thinking of doing this time is actually having the door open outwards, because that will just make it feel so much more spacious inside. So when we come to the front, it will open outside, and then we'll step in, and then we can get our shopping and stuff around the door without having to sort of go in the living room, close the door, then come back in the kitchen. So little things like that. And yeah, we're just trying to future-proof our home, and also at the same time be very practical with the energy saving costs, because, you know, let's face it, the energy savings that we'll be making by the time we've done all of these things will be, I think, a lot more. I wish there was an easy way for me to calculate it, but so far from the garage ceiling insulation, we've noticed a huge difference. So, you know, changing this door is going to also improve how warm this house is. So that's it from me right now. It's a Sunday, back to work tomorrow after the half term. The girls are back to school and nursery. Saf is doing so much better. It's unreal. I'm so thankful to God that she's on the mend, almost back to where she was, I suppose, but still experiencing some pains and some aches. You know, having back problems is not easy. For those of you out there who've had back pain before, whether it's a slip disc or something else, you know what it's like. But thank you so much for all the warm wishes. So that's it from me today. Thank you guys so much for all your support once again. This is Kenroy saying I'll see you when you see me. Take care.